The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by the SGPN merch store. Use the promo code SGPNBA to get 10% off everything in the SGPN store. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Tuesday. I have no idea what the date is to the nearest fortnight. So I guess at the 20th roundabout, 19th, 24th. Anyone?
18th. Today's the 18th, tomorrow's the 19th.
You just gave me two separate answers, didn't you?
Well, you didn't ask for which day you wanted. Did you want the present day or what we're talking about tomorrow?
Today is Tuesday, the 18th of April. I got the right month. And we're here to have a look at we've got a full slate tomorrow, 15 games for Wednesday, the 19th of April. And you've already heard my two cohorts tonight. Full of beans as ever. First up, Mr. Munaf Manji. Munaf, what you doing?
Nothing. Just another day in paradise. Glad to be here with you boys, talking some more baseball. It's always good when we're, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, because we get some day action. But I know we have a lot of day action tomorrow, Wednesday. So can't wait to dive in with you boys.
Yeah, tomorrow is a good day. There wasn't much there. There was an early game today that I watched. In fact, I'm going to talk about that in a little minute because it was a double header. There's been loads of weather around. And then we had that really unsatisfactory early start yesterday in Boston. And also joining us is Mr. Noah Bennick. Noah, how you doing? What's that hat, Noah?
It's just an orange hat. It's the lake that my cabin's on up north.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a hunting hat because we have like 80 acres up there of some hunting land. So anyways, that game that you want to talk about, it was the Tigers game. We had a walk-off from Kerry Carpenter. That's 4 wins in a row, 3 of them via walk-off. But Malcolm, I heard a new statement from you, like full of beans early. What does that mean? Because
full of beans.
My nickname was Beans because my nickname is B-Neck.
Oh, okay, I get it. Full of beans just means you're excited, you're exuberant, like a little puppy. I don't know where it comes from, really. Probably just from eating beans. It's good for you. Yeah, we can write that down in the British Almanac. Phrase book that we're slowly compiling. YouTube.
Oh, yeah. I sent a couple of suggestions to Jake. We might get some baseball merch out there. Daysball is definitely turning into a t-shirt. So
we like the Daysball. Yeah. Well, that's what I wanted to touch on a little bit of the Daysball. The YouTube is alive and kicking. Dylan is in. Good evening, Dylan. Captain Insano. Good evening, Captain. So Detroit, as you mentioned, 3 straight walk-offs. And it was my lock from the Sunday night show because the game was meant to go on. It was my dog from the Sunday night show. Faded Hunter Gaddis. Actually, he pitched okay. Matthew Boyd pitched all right as well. And then Detroit keep getting it done late on. But I just looked at I've been filling in our little spreadsheet, Munaf, and I've got 5 straight losing locks. But I've got 6 out of 7 winning dogs. So make of that what you will. Either I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm creeping my way into profit. Because I keep winning about $27 every night by losing one and then winning a little bit on the other one. I know everyone's dying to hear how the matchup with Captain Insano finished on Sunday night. Captain, this was very funny. Captain Insano wasn't very happy when Starlin Marte stole a base in extra innings to nick me a tie in the game. We chopped it up with a 5-all draw. To be honest, Captain, Logan Webb got rained out, and I think I would have beat you on strikeouts if you hadn't blown up. So I think you can consider yourself lucky. So an honourable draw, and we can move on. Yesterday was just a bit of a weird day. There was lots of news and notes came out. There was loads of little itty-bitty injuries. We'll come to, when we get to each game involving the clubs involved, we'll talk about the injuries. There was loads of bits and bobs. We've got a few call-ups. I know Noah's excited about one pitcher in particular coming up. I think everyone was excited for a bit of Daysball. We got the Angels at the Red Sox, Shohei Ohtani, like behind home plate. The first 5 rows there was absolutely crammed just with Japanese people. It was really good to see. Every Japanese person in Massachusetts must have come out to watch Shohei and just didn't really get it. didn't help our Brian Beo start, I don't think. That's my excuse anyway, because I think he needed a few things to go for him, and it just didn't. It was really quite an unedifying thing to watch. So, yeah, they managed to muck that up. So, yeah, lots of bits to get to, but we've got 15 games on.
Yeah. Chat's popping too. I believe Michael from Australia is in there, Jimmy Moore, and also Ryan McIntyre from the experience. He's telling Munaf to stop playing online poker over there. So Munaf, what hand are you holding currently?
I am holding a conversation with the bosses, so if I'm distracted, you know why. Maybe some.
Welcome, Ryan. Anyone who's here.
They bringing you on for an NBA pod tonight? Sorry about
not tonight. Maybe I think later in the week we're planning something.
Gotcha.
Anyone who's here with the intention of giving Munaf a bit of stick is fine by me, because it's normally the other way around. So if it deflects off all the shenanigans I'm getting up to, then I'm all for it, Ryan. So
where's Barry?
Yeah,
I need him.
Get stuck into him. Yeah, good card for Wednesday. I will first tell you about Underdog Fantasy. The NBA and NHL playoffs are here. And what better way to get down on some player prop parlays than over at Underdog Fantasy? Besides daily NHL, NBA, and MLB games, they've also got an NFL best ball draft with a guaranteed $500,000 in prizes. Head over to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. Okay, tomorrow. Where shall we start? We've got baseball. I'm going to say that as much as possible now, Nora, until everyone's using it like it's an actual word. Really early as well. This is fun for me. 12:35 Eastern is the Tampa Bay Rays at the Cincinnati Reds, where Drew Rasmussen will go for the Tampa Bay Rays. A name I discovered about 90 seconds before we came on air here is pitching for Cincinnati. I originally had Luke Weaver going. I've now got Levi Stout going for Arizona. The Tampa Bay Rays are minus 185, Cincinnati are plus 165, and the total is set at 9.5. Drew Rasmussen eventually gave up some runs against Toronto last time out. The key to that was he walked 4 batters, which is just not like him at all. And he was a little bit worse on the road last year. So Levi Stout, like I say, he's new to me. I don't know if Noah knows a little bit about him, knows our rookie guy. He's got a 4.11 ERA in the minors. He's only pitched 11 innings in AAA at Louisville this year, with a 4.09 ERA. Apart from that, I'm pissing in the wind, unfortunately, telling you about Levi Stout. So yeah, I mean, I've written down Tampa Bay Rays on the run line when I had Luke Weaver handicapped, but this doesn't change much. The odds are still live. That run line is minus 125. I was happy for them to take Weaver apart. Yeah, and I don't know. This might have something to do with Hunter Green getting hit by a comeback. I think he took one on the shin yesterday. Pitched on a little bit, but had to go out. I don't think it'll be too bad. Probably just superficial injury. But Noah, do you know much of anything about Levi Stout?
I don't expect too much out of Stout. He went to Lehigh, which is a small school. It's in the Patriot League, not a very well-known college baseball league. And then he didn't have that great stats in the minors. I feel like this is just a spot start, call him up, give a couple of the guys in the rotation a little bit of a break, and then send them back down to AAA, because he hasn't spent too much time in the minors, and we'll get to that in a different guy that we'll talk about later on. He's only thrown 203 innings in the minors in 3 different seasons. So, I would probably going the other way here. Just not too much for me with Stout.
Okay, Munaf, did you have anything much on this one?
No, not much. I think I would. I mean, the way you guys are talking about Stout, I would probably just look at some Rays team total runs, maybe to score in this game. If he has an ERA of 4.09 in the minor leagues, hasn't pitched a lot, like Noah mentioned, in 3 seasons, he said. So, and now you're coming up to the majors, going up against one of the best teams, at least early on in the season. The Rays may have some success early on. So I agree with your run line play and maybe some runs for the Rays here as well.
Okay. Next game we can tell you a little bit more about is the 1:10 Eastern first pitch. As Jake and TVDBJ join us. Good evening, gents. Cleveland Guardians at the Detroit Tigers. Cal Quantrill for Cleveland, and Spencer Turnbull will go for the Tigers. -143 on the Guardians, +115 on the Tigers. Total is set at 8.5. Noah, can they do it again?
I think they might be able to. Cal Quantrill has faced the Tigers 5 times. He's started against the Tigers 5 times, and he's 2-2 with a 3.79 ERA. But if you take into account that he is dominant at home compared to on the road, the Tigers have only faced him 1 time inside Comerica Park, and they put up 6 runs in that start. They also have a batting average of .306 against Quantrill, with Miguel Cabrera going 7 for 12, batting .583 against Cal. So there's a guy to keep an eye on for the prop market. Quantrill currently carries a .574 ERA in 3 starts, 2 of them against Seattle, so good offense there, but he also gave up 3 to a bad Nationals team. Spencer Turnbull for the Tigers has not had the best start to the season. He has a 9 ERA through 3 starts against the Rays, Jays, and Red Sox. I favor the over here, and I lead towards my guy in Red Bull, and then Tigers money line here.
Okay, Tigers money line. Munaf?
Yeah, I agree with what Noah said. I don't trust Cal Quantrill on the road here. I think we win in this game. I think Quantrill on the road. I think if you go back to last season, give me 1 second. I'm trying to pull up those numbers here.
I think off the top.
Yeah, he was 6-5 on the road with 3 point.
Oh,
yeah. So I think I'm with Noah here. Tigers money line, and I think we see runs in this game.
Wow, so we've got a team ride on the Detroit Tigers. I mean, that's got to be a rarity, possibly even a first here on the MLB Gambling Podcast. Yeah, I mean, Quantrill is average at best, I think, is what I'll give him. And having had Turnbull turned over twice, then missed him when he got his win. I mean, I'm going to have to stick with him one more try. This is almost like the reverse jinx. I'm tipping him just so I can kind of break the spell. And he can get hammered, and then I can just cut ties with him. But until then, I'll give him one more try. Munaf, I meant to ask you earlier on, apropos of nothing. When was the last time you were on a boat?
Oh man, you're putting me on the. Oh God. Maybe at least like 2 or 3 years.
What kind of boat? You just don't look like the sort of fella who's ever been on a boat. That was all I was thinking.
What kind of
it just popped into my head this afternoon. It's sorry, I get it.
What's gonna have to happen is I'm gonna have to have a conversation with the IT department, and when you pass away in 30, 40 years, we're gonna have to donate your brain to research and see what's going on in there.
30 or 40 years. That's ambitious. I am well past halfway, Munaf, and you know it. Well beyond
halfway. I said
halfway.
30, 40. I wasn't trying to make you feel bad.
I'm about 70% of the way through. No worries. 1:10 Eastern first pitch is the San Francisco Giants and the Miami Marlins. Alex Cobb will go for the Giants, and Trevor Rogers goes for the Marlins. It's a match. -110 each of 2. Total is 7.5. Munaf, Giants at Marlins.
Yeah, unfortunately, I got confused with the 2 Alexes on the Giants. I actually handicap Alex Wood, but I do have Alex Cobb's numbers pulled up here. He's actually been he hasn't been too bad. He hasn't gone too many innings for the Giants. He's had 2 games where he's gone 3 2/3 of an inning, but then he did have a pretty good outing against the Kansas City Royals, where he did go 7 innings, only allowed 2 earned runs to the Royals in that game. But on the season, I mean, he hasn't really gotten much run support. He did face the Yankees and the Dodgers. I mean, those are probably the 2 of the better offenses in our league this season. He's been pretty good. I don't have too many complaints about Alex Cobb. Trevor Rogers and 4.20 His first 2 starts were against the Mets, where he did get into trouble, but he bounced back and pitched 6 innings and allowed only 1 earned run. Faced the Giants once last season, where he did go 5 innings and allowed 2 earned runs. The Marlins lost that game 3-2. I really couldn't split these 2 guys. I would probably lean with Alex Cobb and the Giants here. I do like the under in this game, though.
I was exactly with you. To be fair, if you handicap Alex Cobb, you might as well handicap Alex Wood. They're kind of the same picture. And when they play for the Giants, you have to ride them when they're there and hot, because they'll just disappear off for long periods of time. The Giants have lost 4 in a row. That last game you alluded to, the 3-2 game, that's pretty much exactly how I've got this going. It's 2 mediocre offenses. Miami have done a few more bits and bobs lately. Just Chisholm's in good form. But I don't mind Rodgers. I like Cobb. The under 7.5's in play. So, Miami have won 5 of 6 remarkably as well. So they're going along okay. But yeah, this is going to be a tight one. I'll take the under 7.5, Noah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys on the under 7.5. Giants, they have an OPS of 566, which is the second worst, and that's just downright terrible against left-handed pitching. And the Miami Marlins, they rank 25th in OPS against right-handed pitching, 671. So I don't really expect much from both of these offenses in this game. Whereas yesterday, it was completely the other way. We liked the over. I think a couple of us did.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Next up is the 1:15 Eastern first pitch between the Arizona Diamondbacks and the St. Louis Cardinals. It is Madison Bumgarner for the Snakes. It is Jake Woodford for the Cards. Plus 150 on Arizona, minus 188 on St. Louis, and the total is set at 9.5. Mad Bum, he's getting really, really hard. It's you kind of have to watch him pitch through your hands. He's 0-2 with a 7.90 ERA. He started 3 games, and it's the same shit every time, really. There's just nothing to recommend him at all. St. Louis come into this in 5th place, remarkably. We were all high on them, and obviously it's early stages, but sorry?
I wasn't.
Okay, you weren't. But Jake Woodford's numbers aren't great, to be honest. He is improving. His last start, he kept it in the yard, which is silly as it sounds. It's pretty important. If he can do that again, he only gave up 1 walk as well. 2 picks here. I quite like the over, but it is set quite high, 9.5. But I can see this being a shootout, and I wouldn't talk you out to St. Louis on the run line either, just because Mad Bum's going to give up 5 or 6. So as long as Woodford's not an absolute disaster, St. Louis on the run line is very much in play as well. But yeah, that plus the over 9.5 for me, Munaf.
Yeah, St. Louis, I think, rank tops in the league in most offensive categories against left-handed pitching. They're number 4 in team batting average. I believe they're top 5 in WRC plus as well. Sorry, top 7. And then in slugging against left-handed pitching, trying to pull up that number here. They are top 7 as well. Yeah, so I tried to trust Bumgarner's last start against the Marlins, but they absolutely blitzed him. I think we see the same here with the Cardinals. So not sure if I could trust Jake Woodford like you mentioned. So I think the safer bet would probably be, like you mentioned, the over, or maybe Cardinals team total. I think that number will probably be 5.5 with a full game total of 9.5 here. So if you want to go first 5 or full game runs for the Cardinals here, I think I would take it that way. Okay.
Noah, anything on this?
Yeah, so the Cardinals, like Munaf mentioned, they're really good against left-handed pitching. That's 7th in the MLB with an 825 OPS. And then their active roster has a 301 batting average against Bumgarner. So I'm pulling up some guys that you might want to eye prop wise against Bum, but Goldschmidt batting 342 with 4 home runs. He's 26 for 76. And also Nolan Arenado, he's hitting 250 with 3 home runs against Bumgarner. I like the run line with St. Louis, especially with Arizona. They can't really, I talked about it yesterday, they can't really figure out their roles in this bullpen right now. I want to see what they do technically on Tuesday. Because they have a 4.63 ERA and they don't really have a defined closer. So I definitely like St. Louis to win this game, and minus 1.5 would be my pick here.
Okie doke. 2:10 Eastern first pitch. The Texas Rangers at the Kansas City Royals. Left-hander Martin Perez draws the start for Texas. And given the ball for Kansas City is Brady Singer. Texas minus 120. Kansas City are even money plus 100. Total is at 8.5. Munaf, Texas are going well. Little note on Jacob deGrom left last night with a wrist injury. Left after 4 innings. He's talking it down. Didn't look great to me, but that's kind of as far as the news has gone, unless you've heard anything else. But yeah, Texas are going okay. Don't need this deGrom injury, but Martin Perez has been pitching well, Muna.
Yeah, Perez, he's been going along fairly well. Over his last 4 starts against the Royals, actually, he is 4-0 straight up, and they've won each of those games by 2+ runs. Brady Singer, I think at least I was high on him coming into this year, but he's been a little lackluster. I think especially over his last start, I believe he gave up 8 earned runs, if I'm not mistaken. But Kansas City at home, I'll start with this. The offensive numbers for the Kansas City Royals against left-handed pitching, they're bottom 4 in the league in most offensive categories against left-handed pitching. And again, I think we talked about this on the pod yesterday with myself, Noah, and Dylan, that the Royals at home just have not been very good. They've lost 9 of their 11 home games by 2 or more runs. The Rangers they've already won 3 out of the 4 games this season against the Royals by 3, 4, and 9. I like the run line here for the Texas Rangers here, minus 1.5 at plus 140.
Okay, Texas run line for Munaf. What I don't know how we manage it. We've ended up with 2 Kansas City Royals pitches in our TGFBI team, which is a slight concern for me. I'm not sure that's a wise.
I'm just a little bit higher on them compared to the rest of everybody else.
Yeah, you are. TV DBJ's looking forward to the Brady Singer bounce back game tomorrow. It's just a little bit worrying. I like Perez, and Texas are the better team. So yeah, that just looked like a fair price to me. Texas minus 120, but you're a bit higher on Singer, Noah. So are you backing him tomorrow?
No, I'm taking Texas to win this game, but I like the under. And the reason why we like Singer in fantasy is that he's getting strikeouts, or he's at least going to be getting strikeouts. He had 8 against the Braves in his last game that Munaf mentioned. He gave up 8 runs as well as the 8 strikeouts in the 5 innings, but he was missing bats, and that's all we're asking for him to do. When he's getting hit, he's getting hard, and that's the issue right now. Getting hit hard, that's the issue right now. So
that one.
Yeah, he's getting hard because he's getting hit hard. So he's faced the Blue Jays and the Braves, and those are 2 of the better offenses in the league. I don't think we should be worrying about Singer yet through 3 starts. That's just my opinion. So I like the under here between the 2 pitchers.
Okay, it's an under for Noah. The SGPN merch store, in honor of the NBA playoffs, from now until the end of April, you'll get 10% off anything in the SGPN merch store when you see the promo code SGPNBA. SGPNBA. Butchered that. So head over to store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Use the promo code SGPNBA to get 10% off everything. I didn't. I did it right that time. SG. No, it isn't.
It's just one.
It's a single N.
Just one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you see. Shut up, you. It's just that you instinctively, your brain wants to say SGPN,
NBA.
But your brain also wants to say NBA. So it's where do you put the accent? Which part of that do you accentuate?
Yeah. Munaf, how do you guys do that on that show every day? Come on.
We just go SGP NBA. Got to give yourself a little break between the.
That's brain training, though, isn't it? You see, This is my debut saying that. So that acronym, is it an acronym? It says here, mention what item you like in the merch store. I like my hat. There you go. Next up, we've got. I should be in sales, shouldn't I, boys?
Oh boy.
You've never been on a boat, by the way, Munaf. You're a liar.
I own a boat.
2:10 Eastern first pitch between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Chicago White Sox. Taijuan Walker pitches for the Phillies, and Mike Clevenger pitches for the White Sox. Let's have a look at the odds. Minus 120 for Philly, Even money plus 100 on the White Sox. Total is set at 8.5. The Phillies were 3-0 up when I checked about 20 minutes ago. Noah, you can check the score for me. The Moonaf's going to tell us what's going to happen tomorrow.
I think it's 5-4 right now, bottom four. I just looked.
Who to?
Phillies are up.
Okay, that's important.
Taiwan Walker, 1-1 with a 4.20 ERA. 14 strikeouts, 10 walks. He bounced back nicely in his last start against the Reds, where he did go 6 innings, allowed 4 hits, 1 earned run. Walker hasn't faced a White Sox since the 2016 season, but I would look at a walk prop here for Taiwan Walker. He has allowed at least 2 walks in all 3 starts so far this season. Mike Clevenger, surprisingly, has been pretty good for the White Sox this season. He's 2-0 with a 2.20 ERA. 2 stellar starts this season. He only had 1 bad start on the road, which was against the Pirates, but he's looked really good against the Orioles and the Astros. Clevenger pitched once against the Phillies last season, where he was really good in that game as well. 5 shutout innings. He only allowed 1 hit to the Phillies. I know that, Mal, you mentioned that the White Sox are on your 14-day do not bet list. But if you had to put a gun to my head here, I got to trust Clevenger here as far as the 2 pitchers go, but I don't want to trust the bullpen. So I would look at the White Sox within the first 5 innings here, whether that's a run line or a money line. Official bet, White Sox first 5 innings money line.
No, 4-1 so far on the 14-day do not bet list. It's easy money. It's sending the kids to university. I like Taiwan Walker's going well, actually. He came in for quite a bit of stick. There was quite a people were out on him, but I think he's going okay. And they are on my auto fade list. So yeah, give me Philly at -120, Noah.
Yeah, Moonaf covered this game really well. I favor the under with both these pitchers, but then you look at the bullpens and they rank 29th and 30th in the MLB with a 6.83 and a 7.57 ERA, respectively. It's like, okay, so maybe the first 5 under, full game over type kind of deal here, because I think Taiwan Walker and Clevenger should do okay, and it's tough picking the game between 2 pitchers that I think will do all right and 2 bullpens that I can't trust. So just give me the dog, and yeah, that's how I'll feel.
A bit of a breaking news here. Jeffrey Springs is expected to go under TJ surgery.
Yeah, that was so obvious. It was like they just announced it already. Do you know what I mean? The last few days, it was just that you just knew that news was coming. Yeah, a bit of a shame, really. I mean, Tampa Bay do have a production line of pitchers. We've already seen Taj Bradley, so yeah, shame for Springs. He was a big fantasy player. He was going to be a driving force behind this Tampa Bay rotation, but yeah,
they can't catch any breaks. They really can't. Like, they've had Glasnow go down to TJ. They had Springs here now. Rasmussen, I think, has had TJ twice. That's tough.
Yeah. TV DBJ is asking if Bradley's going to stick, and I think he will. Yeah. Absolutely. You can see him rocking up 130, 140 innings this season. 3:10 Eastern is the New York Mets at the LA Dodgers. Max Scherzer for the Mets will take on Noah Syndergaard of the Dodgers. -130 for the Mets, plus 105 for the Dodgers. Total is at 8.5. Moonaf, probably the biggest game of the day. The Braves Padres might rival it, but yeah, Scherzer Syndergaard looks like a good matchup.
Oh, if you love the revenge angle like Malcolm does, this is your game.
Right. Who's taking revenge? Syndergaard.
Syndergaard and Scherzer, you could throw in that conversation.
Sure. Oh, so there you go. So what are we going to do with that?
Have a great outing by both pitchers. Maybe look at the under. But Max Scherzer, 2-1 with a 4.41 ERA so far this season. Surprisingly, only 14 strikeouts to 7 walks for him. Scherzer didn't have Scherzer type of starts in the first 2 games of the season, but he bounced back nicely in his last start against the Padres, where he threw 5 shutout innings, allowed only 1 hit. Scherzer has a great ERA in his career against the Dodgers at 2.59. He last faced the Dodgers in 2021, where he threw 6 innings, only allowed 1 earned run. Obviously, we know he pitched for the Dodgers. In 16 career starts against the Dodgers, Scherzer hasn't allowed more than 3 earned runs in 13 of those starts since 2017 in Dodger Stadium. Scherzer 3-1 with a 1.38 ERA. Thor, he's been a little shaky to start the season for the Dodgers. He's 0-2 with a 5.63 ERA. His last start was against the Cubbies, where he did throw 6 innings and allowed 3 earned runs. His last 2 starts, the opposing teams have scored 8 and 12 runs respectively in both those games. They have gone over the total. And this, again, like I mentioned, this is going to be a first start for Noah Syndergaard against his former team, the Cubs. I'm going to trust Max Scherzer here, man, in the spot. I think we're getting a cheaper price here around minus 130. Based on his history against the Dodgers, he should have a good start here. I know the Dodgers have been struggling a little bit to score some runs. I know they had a good game on Monday night. But I'm going to go with Max Scherzer here and the Mets. I think that it's Noah Syndergaard Day. I know this has been a hot topic in the Discord about Dylan Brady's props against Noah Syndergaard. So, we might see some aggressive base running for the Mets. So give me the Mets money line with Scherzer.
I think I could steal a base against Syndergaard, and I am historically slow. I completely agree with you. Scherzer, I think, is ready. Scherzer's going to have a great start tomorrow. I think Scherzer could be absolutely lights out. Mets are going well as well. 5 in a row they've won. They know Syndergaard's game. So, yeah, so this is set up. Mets minus 130 for me, Noah.
I think it could go the other way. I favor Syndergaard. He's had a little bit of a better start, I think, this season than Scherzer we expected from Scherzer. So I'm going to go with the Dodgers here against the Mets. We'll see what happens on Tuesday. This easily could be a Game 3 rubber match type deal. And like Munaf mentioned, it took it right off my plate, but the stolen base props against Syndergaard, he's like the poster child for those props. So
do we have updated numbers on that?
What, stolen base
success
props?
rate? Yeah, no, against Syndergaard, like success rate.
Yeah, it's 91%, 30 for 33.
Wow.
And they attempt a stolen base every 4 innings against them. That's by average.
There we go.
Okay, so the next game, if I tell you we're going to be handicapping a team whose starting rotation has knocked out 6 quality starts in a row, anyone know where we're going next?
Oakland Athletics.
Oh, no. Give me the Reds.
6
Cubs.
Quality starts in a row for the Pittsburgh Pirates rotation. Yes, go on, Noah. Throw you a little bone there.
Rich Hill, Dick Mountain.
It's Coors. Dick Mountain. Yeah, fucking hell. That was my lock. That couldn't have gone more wrong last night.
Oh, boy. That game was over like in 2 innings.
We were all so confident as well.
Twins versus Yankees type lock there that just blew up in the first
inning. Captain Insane was questioning my stolen base capability on the Nighthawks. I did steal about 12 bases last year, mate. All very, very slowly, but still, I stole them nonetheless.
That's a good T-shirt there, too. The English Ricky Henderson.
The English Ricky Henderson. Now, you can use that. Crack on with that. Yeah, call me Ricky, R8, something like that. Pittsburgh are minus 115 with Johan Oviedo on the mound. Colorado are minus 105 with Austin Gomber on the mound. The total is set at 11.5. Johan Oviedo is a pitcher I really, really like. It was on my radar in a few leagues to pick up on waivers this week in fantasy. He's 1-1 with a 2.45 ERA. He's got really good stuff. Small sample in Colorado, and it was back in 2021 where he pitched 6 innings, but he went along okay. The Rockies are on a 7-game skid. They absolutely shafted us with that Dick Mountain game was that last night or Sunday night maybe. Gomber started bad and then got worse. The Pittsburgh lineup is good. They're hitting really well despite the loss of O'Neal Cruz. And I just think you have to keep riding Pittsburgh. Yeah, this is a really nice price. Minus 115 on the money line. Pittsburgh for me, Munaf.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Pittsburgh, they came out and just absolutely shelled Kyle Freeland on Monday night within those. I think it was like the first 2 or 3 innings. I mean, look, even though they lost O'Neal Cruz, I thought their offense would fall off, but they've been pretty good without him. The pitching has picked up, like you mentioned as well. It's Coors Field. I know we talked a lot about backing the Rockies in Coors Field, but it just hasn't panned out that way so far this season. So I'll go with the Pirates with you here, Mel.
No, we know you're taking the Pirates.
Yeah, I am. And Oviedo's pitch repertoire in Coors, it's pretty damn good. He goes slider 38% of the time, fastball 27%. Gomber, his top off speed of choice is changeup. And typically in Coors, you lose the vertical depth compared to everywhere else in the MLB. So yeah, it just points me right to the Pirates again. They're hot. They're rolling. They might be a wagon this year.
Oh shit! 3:37 Eastern Pace switch is the Chicago Cubs at the Oakland Athletics. Justin Steele, left-handed pitcher, goes for Chicago. Now I've got James Caprillion going for Oakland. I'm going to throw this to Noah in a second. So I've handicapped James Caprillion, but there's a possible pitching change here. Steele and the Cubs are minus 160, Oakland plus 140. With a total set at 8. Now, I did see the news that Oakland had called up Mason Miller, absolute fireball prospect, had a great spring and was lights out in AAA to start the season, pretty much to the fact that they couldn't ignore him anymore. And why not? The rest of the pitchers are dog shit. So I saw they called him up, but I didn't necessarily see he was going to pitch tomorrow. But Noah, you think you might be going tomorrow, and you can tell us a little bit more about him. Mason Miller is the name we're looking at.
Yeah, I saw a couple of Oakland beat writers saying that he could pitch tomorrow, and it would just be giving the A's starters a little bit of a break here. Like you mentioned, big time news out of the Athletics organization because they promoted this dude. Speaking of wagons, we have him and Justin Steele going in one game here. Mason Miller is a Pittsburgh native. No, I'm not biased to that. I don't know the guy, but he went to Waynesburg University, which is a small college in Pennsylvania, and then transferred to Gardner-Webb. This kid chucks triple digits, and I thought there was no way that Oakland would make this call here, but here we are. I picked him up in our Dynasty League because he seems like a similar build to a Spencer Strider. Like, he graduated in 2021. He was drafted in the 3rd round by the A's, and he's thrown just 28.2 professional innings of baseball. I don't know what the motive here is for the Athletics, but Miller's flat out nasty. According to Lance Brozdowski on Twitter, Miller has a 144 stuff plus on his 100-mile-an-hour fastball. 100 is league average. He has a 120 stuff plus on his slider at 86 miles an hour and a 116 stuff plus on his 95-mile-an-hour cutter. Miller has 53 strikeouts and 28.2 innings in the minors so far in his career with a 2.83 ERA. This kid just has the God-given ability to be elite and nasty. And Justin Steele, he started off 2-0 this year in 3 starts, 142 ERA against the Brewers, Rangers, and Dodgers. He's looked pretty damn good so far. The price right now is for Caprillion. Now, Caprillion's not that bad in his own right. Maybe a plus 150 on Caprillion would do suffice. And this is definitely not going to be 150 if Miller is confirmed to throw. This is going to drop because there's a lot of hype around this kid. I would probably jump on the Athletics money line and first 5 under for this game.
Okay, I'll back out of this one then, not knowing who's going. Munaf, anything to add?
Yeah, I am seeing. You said Mason Miller's his name, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought of,
Yeah.
So I do see that he is slated to start tomorrow. So, I mean, Noah laid out the case. I'd probably step away from this one to see how the guy pitches. But Justin Steele has been really good. I did pick up a Cy Young ticket on him at 100-1.
There we go.
He's looked really good so far. Oakland has been pretty good actually against left-handed pitching this season. They're about a little above league average, but it'll be interesting to see how Mason Miller does here. I agree about the under what Noah said. I do like that play. So first 5 under for me if I had to make a play. But I'm gonna keep backing. I mean, if you put a gun to my head, I'm gonna keep backing my guy Justin Steele. Fan of the pod, by the way.
you taking baseball tips offshore now, Munaf? Because that was one of his guys, wasn't it? I think.
Well, he also took the Athletics to win the AL East.
Yeah, he did actually. 2,000 to 1. Okay, 410 Eastern face.
200.
I don't know. There was enough. There wasn't whatever. They could another couple of zeros on there wouldn't have gone amiss here. The Atlanta Braves at the San Diego Padres is Charlie Morton for the Braves and Nick Martinez for San Diego. Again, this is a match on the books, minus 110 each of two, with the total set at 8.5. Atlanta are coming in hot. We mentioned that the Mets have won 5 in a row. Well, Atlanta have outdone them. They've won 7 on the spin now. Charlie Morton is 2-1, has a 3.86 ERA. Pretty much 3 identical starts. 2 earned runs on 5 innings against the Padres on April the 8th in a game that they lost 4-1. Max Fried was back last night as well, so a little positive there for the Braves. San Diego have been shut out twice in a row, obviously before Tuesday night's game, so I'll keep an eye on that one. And Juan Soto looks a little bit broken as well. I'm not sure what he's up to. They get Tatis back on Thursday. So lots of things happening in San Diego. Martinez has had 3 similar starts as well. They've just all been slightly worse than Morton's. They're kind of just 1 run worse. So I think Charlie Morton can expect a little bit more run support than he got last time out in that game. I think Atlanta are a fair price here. I'll take them at minus 110. This is just I've had my eye on Martinez because I've got him in quite a few fantasy teams, and I'm just a little bit concerned by him. Like, he's not really blown my skirt up very much, and I think Charlie Morton and the Braves can get past a scuffling San Diego team, Noah.
Can we go to Munaf real quick? I'm going to write down a couple of names for some stolen base props in this game.
Okay, hit me, Munaf.
Yeah, I don't know why I deep dove into this game, but there was a lot of stuff that stood out to me in this game. So, Charlie Morton, he's been pretty good so far this season for the Braves. To start there, 2-1 with a 3.86 ERA. He did face the Padres earlier this season on April 8th, where he pitched 5 innings, allowed 6 hits and 2 earned runs, 3 runs overall. Now, Morton has allowed at least 2 earned runs in all 3 starts so far this season, but he's allowed 3 runs in all 3 starts. They haven't been earned runs, but they've been 3 runs within those first 5 innings in all 3 starts. And like I mentioned, the opposing teams have scored 3 runs in all 3 starts against Morton within those first 5 innings. Now, since 2022, Morton has faced the Padres 3 times. He is 0-2 with a 4.50 ERA, and the Braves have lost 2 out of those 3 starts. Walks are an issue for Charlie Morton, where he's allowed at least 2 in all 3 starts so far this season. Over his last 6 career starts against the Padres, Morton has issued at least 3 walks in 5 of those 6 starts. And I think this game is during the day, Mal. I think that you said. And for whatever reason, Charlie Morton struggles during the day. And this goes back to the 2020 season. And I'm just going to quickly read off his ERAs during the day. So 2020, 5.72, 4.71, and 21. And then last season, 5.72 for Charlie Morton. Nick Martinez off to a rough start for the Padres. He's 0-1 with a 5.60 ERA with 11 strikeouts and 10 walks. Martinez has allowed at least 3 earned runs in all 3 starts within the first 5 innings. The Padres did lose both home starts by Nick Martinez this season. He did face the Braves on April 7th, where the Padres did win 5-4. Now, over the last 2 seasons, Martinez has faced the Braves twice, including this season, where he's 0-1 with a 7.45 ERA. And also, Martinez has an issue with walks like Morton. He's allowed at least 4 walks in each of the 2 starts against the Braves. I'm not sure I can trust either pitcher here, but I do like the over in this game. I think that the opening number of 9 is definitely warranted. I do like the Braves' first 5 team total over here as well. I think their bats stay hot here, but I think we see runs in this game here, Mel.
Okay. I do know why you did the deep dive, Munaf. That's because I sent you the same games to handicap that I was doing because I'm a bit of an idiot. So I've actually done the same with the Angels and the Yankees, which we've got to come up as well, which is why I sent Noah all the extra games that we haven't done between us. But, a little look behind the curtain there, like the Wizard of Oz. Noah, did you fetch out your stolen base props?
Yeah, I did, and I grabbed some stats here because Munaf did great, allowing me to have more extra time. Charlie Morton, 90% stolen success rate or stolen base success rate against him. So a guy to target here is Jose Zokar. He has 4 stolen bases on the year. And Nick Martinez, 86% stolen base success rate against him. The Braves only really have 2 guys that steal and get on base successfully against right-handed pitching. That's Ronald Acuna, who excels at it. He's got 7 stolen bases on the year, which is tied for 4th in the MLB. He's a 458 on base percentage against right-handed pitching. And also another guy to keep an eye on is Michael Harris. I favor the Padres in this game, though. I think the offense has to bounce back at some point, and they have a 304 career batting average against Charlie Morton. No, 314 roster batting average against Charlie Morton and some guys that in this game. Xander Bogaerts hitting 341 with 2 home runs. He's 14 for 41. Matt Carpenter, he's also 7 for 23 with a 304 batting average. And Nelson Cruz, if he starts, he's 10 for 31 with a home run, an NC boomstick shot, if you will. So a lot of props in this game for a marquee matchup of the night.
4:10 Eastern first pitch, the Milwaukee Brewers at the Seattle Mariners. 2 lefties will go. Eric Lauer for the Brewers, and the Mariners will send Marco Gonzalez to the bump. The lines are plus 105 on the Brewers, minus 125 on the Mariners. Total is set at 8.5. Noah, we'll come straight back to you for the Brewers at the Mariners.
All right. So I think another first 5 under here is an order from me. I'm playing quite a bit of these today. Both of these lineups have been bad against left-handed pitching so far this year. Seattle is 650 OPS, Milwaukee 630. That's good for 24th and 25th in the league, respectively. As for who wins this game, I don't really feel comfortable picking a winner until I see how Tuesday's bullpen usage goes. So that's all I've got. I'll lean towards my guys in the Brew Crew, but I really want to see like what happens here because they have Colin Ray on the mound. We don't know how far he's going to go into this game. So if they use quite a bit of that bullpen, I like Seattle in this matchup. But I thought Logan Gilbert could get touched up from that Brewers lineup. So it's just a wait and see from me here. First 5 under is my best lean I can give.
Yeah, that's valid info. Wanting to see how much bullpen usage there is tonight. I don't mind that at all. Munaf, Brewers at Mariners.
Yeah, I didn't really have much for this game. Both these teams are well below league average as far as team batting average goes against left-handed pitching. WRC plus, Seattle number 20, Milwaukee number 25. So I think that offense may be at a premium here. So I would lean towards the under as well.
Yeah, team right. That is. But I think there was an element of risk with both pitchers here. But that number's high. 8.5's high enough. When you see how they've both been going against lefties. So, yeah, perfectly happy to co-sign it under 8.5 in that one. 7:05 Eastern first pitch is the Baltimore Orioles at the Washington Nationals. Now, I had Kyle Bradish going for Washington. For Baltimore earlier on. I'm now seeing TBD for the Orioles. Washington have Mackenzie Gore going. I have no lines. Noah, have you seen anything? Why would Bradish be up and down here, or what's gone on?
So I think what's happening here is that Bradish isn't officially off the IL until tomorrow. But I saw him slated to pitch as well. I'm going back. Yeah, they removed the game for odds wise. So maybe we might see some weather. I have no freaking clue. But yeah, I had Kyle Bradish going, coming off the IL here for the Orioles against Mackenzie Gore for the Nationals. I think I like both of these pitchers in this spot. Gore has given Washington a chance to win every time he's taken the ball. And that's all you ask for from a guy like that on a team like that. He's 2-0 with a 3 ERA against the Braves, Angels, and at the Rockies. 3 great starts. When Malcolm talks about pitchers that you want to, that will make you money this season and that you want to back, I think Gore is one of them for me. Bradish took a line drive off the leg in his first start, so he's actually only thrown 1.2 innings so far this season. But I would lean towards the under here with both these pitchers, and I like the Nats money line, assuming that there'll be a dog in the spot.
Mackenzie Gore was on that list, Noah. Yeah, so absolutely. I'm going to back him up and take Nationals here. I do like Bradish. I think he'll go okay. But like you say, Gore's putting Washington in the game, and that's all you can ask for at this point. Munaf?
Yeah, not much for me in this game. Obviously, we don't know who the pitcher. I saw the same thing that you saw, Mal, when we're I was handicapping this game. But Mackenzie Gore hasn't been too bad. The whip is a little bit high for him. But he's another left-handed pitcher here, and the Orioles so far this season against left-handed pitching, team batting average is there. They are top 10. WRC plus for Baltimore is at number 2 actually. So, I mean, depending on who starts here for the Orioles, I'll lean with the Nats here, but nothing official for me.
Okie doke. 7:05 Eastern. First pitch is the LA Angels at the New York Yankees. Griffin Canning will go for the Angels, and Johnny Brito for the Yankees. Plus 120 on the Angels, minus 140 on the Yankees. Total is set at 9. I'll let you take this one, Boonhoff.
You can go if you want.
How kind.
I really didn't have a lot. I mean, Griffin Canning, I think this is he made his first start last season last week again for the season against the Nationals, where he did go 5 innings in that game, allowed 2 earned runs. Griffin Canning hasn't faced the Yankees in his career, so no historical data there. But on the road in his entire career, he is only 3-8 with a 4.22 ERA. Johnny Brito, like you mentioned, he's going to start here for the Yankees, 2-1 with a 6.75 ERA. His last start is the one that's inflating the ERA here, where he allowed 7 earned runs in just 2/3 of an inning pitched against the Minnesota Twins. But prior to that, he had really 2 great starts against the Orioles and the Giants, where he only allowed 1 earned run in 10 innings pitched for the Yankees. I think the jury's probably still out on Brito, at least for me. I really couldn't split the 2 teams here. I think that this may be a game where maybe Griffin Canning does give up some runs here to the Yankees. I'll lean with the home team here, but nothing. I didn't have anything official for this game. It just wasn't enough data for me to differentiate the 2 pitchers.
Okay. I really like Griffin Canning, Noah. I'll be campaigning for us to possibly pick him up if he's available over the next week or 2. He's got all the talent in the world, man. He's been around for ages, like 2019. People have been talking about him. He's got really good metrics. And the Angels say that he's going to stick around. They're obviously using it's a 6-day rotation rather than a 6-man rotation. But LA seem to be making good decisions so far this season, which is not what they're renowned for. They've brought up, is his name Josh Neto? Is that his first name?
No,
I think
Zach Neto.
Zach, that's him. Yeah, Zach Neto. They sent David Fletcher down. Remarkably, David Fletcher's been their bits and bobs player for years, but they sent him down. Brought up Neto. He's got a big old leg kick, Neto.
Oh yeah, love that.
Yeah, he looks like he looks like a pitcher out there. And Griffin Canning did pitch well against Washington, so yeah, I'm still quite high on the Angels. Johnny Brito, that last start was a WTF moment because he'd been going really good before that, and I felt a little bit sorry for him. He will be fine. It is cold. There's been a lot of weather about on the East Coast. I trust both of these in the cold weather, so I'm going to take the first 5 under, Noah.
Yeah, I don't have much to add for this one. I'm going to go with the Angels. And since you brought him up, I'll talk about him a little bit. Zach Neto, he's another guy like Mason Miller who did not have a whole lot of experience in the minor leagues. They just kind of rushed him up to the majors saying, hey, his floor is higher than David Fletcher's ceiling type, or maybe not higher than the David Fletcher ceiling, but he's going to give you more than what David Fletcher would do on a typical average day for Fletcher. Neto, he hasn't looked Neto-like early on in his first 3 games. I don't know if he has a hit yet. And he's got like 4 strikeouts, and he's a guy that does not strike out often. So I wonder if the Angels did rush him up here a little bit.
He got a hit against Boston last night, Noah.
Okay. So I didn't
off Brian Beal.
He He got rocked in that first inning. We were talking about that yesterday. But no, he started off 0 for 8, and he had like five strikeouts, and that's just not Neto like. So I was wondering if they rushed him up a little bit. But that leg kick that you're talking about, he's a guy that bought into the launch angle thing. He's a little guy, but the leg kick helps him drive the ball, and he cuts it down with 2 strikes. So that's what kind of helps him not strike out too much. But early on in the MLB, facing some big league pitching, he's been struggling a little bit from what I normally see of Neto.
Okay, the penultimate game on the card is a 7:10 Eastern between the Minnesota Twins and the Boston Red Sox. Even Moonaf got his pen out. Moonaf's joining in the fun.
We did a tribute to you yesterday.
We did.
Did you?
Off. Yeah, we did.
I was going to tune in, and then I couldn't be bothered. Is what happened there. Long story short. The Minnesota Twins at the Boston Red Sox, where Joe Ryan goes for Minnesota, and Corey Kluber will go for Boston. -120 for the Twins, +140 for Boston. Total is set at 9. Noah, back to you.
The active roster for the Twins only has a 165 batting average against Corey Kluber, who made one start against Minnesota last year, limiting the Twinkies to just 1 run off of 1 hit in 6 innings of work. It was just pure domination. I have liked Joe Ryan so far this year, but so a first 5 under might be another play for me here in this game. I'll take a shot with the Red Sox on the money line. They have a 720 OPS against righties compared to Minnesota's 660 OPS, ranking 27th in the MLB. Runners have an 82% stolen base success rate against Joe Ryan. I talked about this one on yesterday's show. Masataka Yoshida is the Red Sox leader in stolen bases, but he's coming off a hamstring injury, so I'm staying away from him for a couple of days here. Kike Hernandez and Christian Arroyo are some guys to target for those stolen base props.
Okay, that's a great stat, by the way, Minnesota's active roster. Yeah, I'd taken Minnesota here, but you've just maybe pumped the brakes a little bit. Kluber's generally been good at home, but I do like Ryan. And I just think Minnesota are playing much better baseball at the minute than Boston are. Boston just, there's something off with them. I watched that game yesterday against the Angels. I know it was an unusual set of circumstances, but it's still just not quite clicking. So I'm just taking the team who were in better form, really. Behind a pitcher that I do like a lot in Joe Ryan at -120. Moonaf, can you split the tie on that one?
Yeah, the Red Sox offense has dropped off, obviously, since the beginning of the season. They lost Adam Duvall, who was their home run leader. And then, like Noah said, they were missing Yoshida with the hamstring injury. So those are, I mean, especially early on, those are 2 significant guys. They do get Yoshida back here. Joe Ryan last season had 1 good start, 1 bad start against the Red Sox. I think I like the stat what Noah mentioned there about the active roster against Corey Kluber. So I'll take a stab with Kluber here on the first 5 innings money line for the Red Sox.
Yeah, I think that was our stat of the night there from Noah. The final game is a good one, 8:10 Eastern first pitch. The Toronto Blue Jays at the Houston Astros. Jose Barrios for Toronto and Luis Garcia for Houston. +110 on the Blue Jays, -130 on the Astros. Total is at 9.5. And Noah, we're back to you again.
Yeah, so if you guys like the stat on the last game, I'm giving the same one out here for this one. And it's to no surprise for us, the current hitters for the Astros on this roster have an average of 304 against Jose Barrios in 109 plate appearances. Jose Abreu is hitting 291. He's 16 for 55 in his career with 3 taters. And Alex Bregman's batting 286, 4 for 14 with a Breggy bomb as well off of Barrios. But Barrios looked good in his last outing against the Rays, pitching 5 innings, only giving up 1 run. So do you think that's a sign of tides turning, or was it a flash in the pan? Luis Garcia is 0-2 in 3 starts so far this year with a 7.71 ERA. I liked what Mal was saying early on in the preseason that Garcia might be a little bit better than we thought, just with the whole time clock scenario and how he actually pitched better out of the stretch last year. So I'd rather just stick with an over in this game. The 9.5 is high. First 5 over wouldn't be bad, as both bullpens are doing well so far this year. The Astros haven't been as good as they normally are, but they're still good enough to maybe keep that game under 9.5 total.
No, I like the over now as well. I really don't trust either pitcher and do trust the lineups. Like you said, I think the Barrios good start was the outlier rather than the rule. So, yeah, the 9.5 is high, but this could be a shootout for me. So happy to take the over, Munaf.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same camp as you guys. I think we'll see runs put up in this game. The 2 starts so far this season for Luis Garcia at the juice box, 10 innings pitched, 13 hits, 8 earned runs that he's allowed in those games. Last season, he had 1 good start, 1 bad start against the Toronto Blue Jays. But that 1 bad start was actually at Minute Maid Park. So I think that if you want to back the Blue Jays here in some type of way, you probably want to take a look at their team totals to go over. I know Noah mentioned that Jose Barrios had a good start in Toronto last week, but he's just been atrocious on the road. Going back to last season when he was pitching for the Toronto Blue Jays. Just to put into context, last season on the road, he was a 5-5 record, but he had a 6.36 ERA. And this season so far on the road, 11.17 ERA, 0-2 in the 2 starts. He had a bad outing against the Royals and the Angels. So I think that, yeah, you guys are right. Probably a first 5 over here. If you want to continue fading Luis Garcia, maybe look at Jay's team total to go over as well in the first 5 innings.
Okay. Well done, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That is 15 games handicapped. We've got our lock and dogs. I'm going to lead us off because I was giving out my lock and dog stats at the top of the show. So the lock on a run of 5 losers. So the one you want to ignore is the New York Mets at minus 130. I'm just expecting, I don't know what it is, got a feeling in my water. I think Max Scherzer's going to go nutso tomorrow. He's going to go really well. This is a good spot for the Mets again, and I'm not really having Syndergaard. I think Syndergaard might try and overstretch himself as well. He's determined to get himself back to throwing triple digits, and he's not going to be able to do it. So, yeah, Mets is going to be the lock. So that's the one not to bet on. The one to pick is the dog. Dogs are hot. 6 out of 7 winning dogs for me. And it's going to be Detroit. They've won with 3 straight walk-offs, and I don't trust Cal Quantrill particularly. So, yeah, Detroit on the money line at plus 115. Noah.
Yeah, so my lock, I'll keep these both short. I got the San Francisco Giants, Miami Marlins under 7.5. And for my dog, I like the St. Louis Cardinals to just blow up Madison Bumgarner, minus 1.5, plus 115.
Yeah, that's a great call. Munaf.
Lock, let's go with the Padres and Braves first 5 over. That number probably comes around, I think, around 5. Also do like the Braves team total over 2.5. And then my dog, it's a game that we talked about, the Rangers against the Royals. Rangers minus 1.5, plus 140. 9 of the 11 games the Royals have lost at home have been by 2 or more plus runs. And like I mentioned already this season, the Rangers, 3 out of the 4 games that they have beaten the Royals have come by 3, 4, and 9. And again, the Royals rank in the bottom 4 in the league in all offensive categories against left-handed pitching. So I'll take the Rangers minus 1.5, plus 140 as my dog.
Okay, love that, Muna. Anything you need to tell us about NBA or anything else before we go?
So 2 notes for MLB. Hunter Green just signed an extension with the Reds, 6 years, $53 million. And
Smart by the Reds.
Yeah, and then Mookie Betts has been placed on the paternity list, so he'll be out maybe a week or so.
Mookie.
Muna, Captain Insano wants me to ask if you can ride a bike.
With 4 wheels, yes.
So Munaf can ride a car or a bus. So nothing on water and nothing with 2 wheels. Noah, anything to tell us about?
No, just follow us on socials, MLB, SGPN. And we read off a couple of reviews yesterday, Malcolm, and all 3 of them mentioned your accent, but they're all in a positive way.
Hey, were they off my mum and my sister and my grandma?
Who knows? I don't
Did
know.
they submit a review? It seemed like they were from
all
London or from Newcastle area.
Yeah, they're all usernames, so we couldn't tell.
Shit. Well, whoever that was, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Mal's mom, sister, and who else did you mention?
I mentioned my grandma, but that would be a review from Beyond the Grave. But I don't think we. That's
just turning over into a grave right now.
That's a section of the show we don't need to delve into. Oh well, that's good. I must be in the plus column now then. Positive reviews over negative ones. Thank you everyone for joining in and making it fun. Everyone in the comments, TVDBJ, Captain Sado, Jake was in there. And who's the Aussie guy? The top Michael from Australia as well. We do appreciate it. So yeah, you know where to find us. Like, rate, review, thumbs up, all things like that. Good luck with your bets. I'm going to go and have a cup of tea and watch some baseball. Loads of baseball tomorrow as well. Until then, we'll see you down the road. Cheers.